What's going on, guys and gals? Jordan, Lightning latest. Let's dive in. Got a pretty busy one today. Obviously tonight, first matchup against the Kings, so we're definitely going to talk about that. Also going to talk about Connor Geeky. He's doing pretty good down in Syracuse, but want to dive a little bit into his season so far. The Stadium Series jerseys as well, because we all know. I don't know, man. They're kind of growing on me. The more I think about them, the more I'm like, all right, not too bad at all. And then finishing off, of course, with the patented. What if we're going to talk about a Kings player today? Because, we got them tonight. Let's just go ahead and do it, guys. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So, Bolts head into the first matchup against the Kings. We've lost 2 in a row. We did have the OT shootout loss against the Islanders, and then we had a 5-2 loss to the Panthers on Monday. Which, no one wants to talk about because, let's just say the Panthers did something to Adrian Kemp last night that also was kind of questionable, but that's what happens when you get a team that's protected by player safety, of course. So, yep. But anyways, so Kings come to town as the second opponent in a 4-game homestand, with the matchups against the Kings and the Blues coming up after that. So, did take the loss to the Panthers, but hopefully we can rebound and win the next 3. Finish this homestand pretty strong. Bolts defenseman Ryan McDonough is getting closer to return, as the veteran reporter told reporters yesterday. We'll see if he'll be back against the Kings, per Eric Erlendren. Sorry, I can never say his last name. Eric Erlinson. Yes, Erlinson. Eric Erlinson. Also, via Benjamin Pierce, Brandon Hagel is considered day-to-day with an upper body injury, per assistant coach Rob Zettler. Honestly, I hate to say this. Don't be surprised if it was a concussion again, because that was... We all know that the Panthers never get suspended for anything, because why would they? But, hopefully we'll get Hagel back sooner rather than later. The Kings are 3-4-3 over their last 10. So they've been pretty inconsistent, including 4 straight losses. So it's been a bit rough. They were close to the top of the Pacific. Now they kind of sunk back towards the mid of the pack, I guess. They're now 4th in the division. They're 5 points behind the Pacific leading Ducks at 37 points overall. So the Ducks have 42. We'll be playing them. We'll be playing them again in a couple weeks too. And the Kings aren't too far off, but the 4-game losing streak has hurt them, obviously, right? Just like the 2-game losing streak hurt us. We were first in the division, now we're 3rd. So with LA's losing streak extending over the first 2 games of their current road trip, the Bolts have a pretty good chance of riding the ship and getting back on track with a win at home. So a victory would put them right back in position for a potential shot at first. They'll need a couple losses, obviously, from Boston and Detroit, but we're not too far off. Currently in 3rd, 2 points behind the Red Wings, like I said, and then a point behind Boston. The Bolts should be getting Vasi back tonight. And if that's the case, then that's fantastic, because we all know we could use our number 1 back. JoJo's played, pretty well. I mean, all things considered. He is the number 2. He's shown he could probably handle a bigger role, but we're not quite there yet, because we're still seeing kind of the streakiness, the inconsistency. Something we don't see from Vasi. Rob Zettler also talked about Vasi's progress. He said Wednesday's practice was his marker, according to Benjamin Pierce. Vasi said he felt good, but Zettler did need to speak to the trainer as well to make sure he'd be good to go against LA tonight. So if he can't go against LA tonight, it's gonna be JoJo, obviously. But we're all hoping to see our number 1 back in net. So first matchup against the Kings this year too. So if we get a win, it'll be great, because we're going to be playing them again in a couple weeks to cap off the season series. Remember, we've already swept Vegas, right? We beat them home and away. So if we can do the same to the Kings, we're not going to be looking too bad. So that's kind of where we want to be right now. Tonight's going to be a tough one, no doubt. The Kings might have lost 4 in a row, but remember, they're still a pretty solid club overall, and they have a lot of really good, still plenty of capable veterans as well. So, going to be a tough one. I think we're going to be all right. I believe we're getting back on track tonight. And if we don't, well, we'll dive right back into it. A couple of months, we're a couple of months in already, so it's just looking, we gotta find some consistency. Finding some consistency will be key. If we can, we'll be all right. Meanwhile, Connor Geekie, not having a bad year. Did have a bit of a tough opening season to the Bolts. Only had the 1 assist in 6 games, and 10 minutes and 1 second of time on ice. So he wasn't getting a lot of time on ice, and that's the problem, right? That's the problem. If he's not getting that time on ice, Syracuse is the best place for it. Well, good. He's getting a lot of time up in Syracuse. He's third on the team in points with 23, 6 goals and 17 assists, +7, ±. So, not doing too bad at all. He's really recharged his game with Syracuse, showing why a lot of people consider him to be the top prospect of the Bolts, right? Including the Athletic, which we talked about before the season. Teaming with fellow young guns like Pelletier, Abruzzi, and Duke, the Crunch's offense has really helped them to that 16-9-1-0 start. And the question is this, how much longer are these kind of players going to remain at Syracuse? It's a valid question because they're playing pretty darn good hockey. And, the only issue is this. We don't have the room. Offensively, the depth looks fine. No one's hurt offensively, really. No one's, other than, unfortunately, Hagel. But no one's truly, really, hurt other than Hagel. We have pretty much the entire offensive core ready to go, and I wouldn't. Yeah, I'd say playing well. Other than the streakiness, when we're on, we're on. So, however, getting guys maybe a Geekie backup could help boost this. So we'll see. The Bolts #1 prospect, per the Athletic, will certainly have his time up in Tampa at some point. He's going to be back. We know it's going to happen at some point. However, with the regular playing time he's receiving in Syracuse, it's probably best for all parties that he remains with the Crunch for now. Right? Because we want to see him continue to excel, continue to play well. He's not doing too bad at all. So, we'll take that all day. He's also going to have a couple new teammates again, as Scott Saborn and Brandon Halverson were sent back to Syracuse after the loss to Florida. So, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on Geekie, more closely. We're going to be keeping an eye on him for sure. If he shows that he's ready to come back, I believe he'll be back. But for now, it's time to continue to tear up Syracuse. I'm totally in on that, and I'm completely fine with it. So, but we're gonna also switch gears once again because we haven't really talked about this yet. But the Stadium Series look. A couple months before their February 1st Stadium Series clash, the Bolts revealed their special uniforms for the first ever game played at Raymond James Stadium, which is the home of course, the Bucks. Who, oh my gosh, don't get me started on them. Y'all saw me the other day. It's just, yikes. So, the Bolts unis will be the usual dark blue primary color, but the difference is they have the TBL emblazoned, of course, across the front, and the blue is it's lighter than this blue. It's a sky blue, sky blue hue with faint lightning strikes throughout it, which is, honestly, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, okay. My one big gripe with it, honestly, is just the TBL across the front. I'm like, oh man, why did it say Bolts like our 2022 Stadium Series jerseys in Nashville? It should have just said Bolts. That would look so much cooler, especially with the Lightning. TBL, it's it's whatever. The Bruins are currently second place and the Bolts division rival, but we're going to be playing them in that game. So it's going to be pretty important. We did beat them back in October, remember, for the first win of the season, but we haven't played them since then. We won't play them till the Stadium Series clash. And then after that, we played them a couple times over the final few weeks of the season. It's kind of wild, once again the NHL schedule at its best. The Lightning organization and the NHL combined ideas for the jerseys, which, obviously they offer a chance to tell the story of Tampa in both outdoor hockey and a non-traditional market. This is according to the Bolts website. Kevin Priest, he's the Vinnick Sports Chief Group Venue Officer. Just trying to say that 5 times fast. Jesus. He did say this. He said, "We've got a very strong lineage of winning and being very blue and having our distinct marks. Everything is very clean, and there's not a lot of nuances to it. If you look at some of the NHL logos, they have a lot of fine lines while ours is a very clean, bold, succinct statement. I love that word, succinct. It's such a good one. We wanted to say with that. Okay, well, must have been a grammatical error. This is the first time we've ever hosted an outdoor game, and we're in a non-traditional market. So how do we make it big? And then we thought, we've already played outside once. How do we pull some of the cues from that? Among other details in the jersey, which are pretty cool, include flashes lightning bolts within the lettering, that you talked about, right? I really, really like those touches. The Stadium Series logo serving as the shoulder patches and more. It's not a Gasparilla jersey like we've seen over the last few years, but it does nod to Gatsby quite a bit, which is kind of cool. There are threaded beads on the jersey's neckline, so fans can, according to the website, don figurative beads to the game, and the jersey's loop tag is made to simulate the beat up like flag from a pirate ship, so that's cool too. The jersey sleeves are, this is where I like it. It's the little defined details. They have the Jolly Roger inspired skull with the lightning bolt serving as the crack on the skull. I should have wore my Gasparilla Lightning hat for this episode, so apologies. And then, this is this is also pretty cool. The sleeves are debossed with a singular lightning bolt as well to pay homage for the Bolt for Life members. So it's with the season ticket guys, which is really, really cool. Also connected by a string of beads. So it's definitely a shout out to Gasparilla. The Bulls website also says some of the technology, including the debossing of the sleeves, wasn't possible a decade ago. And then Priest also said this. He thinks the beads in the collar are his favorite part because it's subtle, but we've never really done something outside of our brand in that space. And it's so true to the timing of the game. And then the flag is just something that makes sense. The tattered flag is synonymous with the pirate ship and the pirate life. And Pirate Life or the Jolly Roger. So, it's, Priest is right. It's a pretty solid jersey. I'm starting to talk myself into it, and I thought I wouldn't, but I just would change the TBL. Literally, the shoulder patch should be the center crest. But I digress. I would have also loved to see some creamsicle jerseys, but I don't think that was ever going to happen. So, one guy I wouldn't mind seeing in those jerseys on February 1st, though, is bringing back an old friend of ours, Corey Perry. So Corey Perry, we all know, 2003 first round pick by the Ducks. He's been in the league 21 years now. This is year 21. Spent the first 14 seasons of his career in Anaheim. Since leaving the Ducks, however, ahead of the 2019-2020 season, Perry's been around. He spent a year with the Stars and Canadiens and then spent 2 years with the Bolts. He played in 82 and 81 games in both seasons, so played great. Then a half season in Chicago, then a year and a half with the Oilers after being traded to Chicago. 2 Stanley Cup bursts with Oilers, right? But however, right, couldn't get past the Panthers, as we all know, and we're just so annoyed about. He is going to hit the free agent market next summer, all right? So that is important. So this could be his final ride, especially if he goes out on a shield and he wins the title, because that's the one he's been looking for. Corey Perry has a ton of individual accolades, but he's looking for that cup. So if he gets it this year, it's highly possible he retires. However, the Kings have been stumbling lately, right? We've lost 4 in a row, 3-4-3 the last 10. Perry fails to win the cup again. Certainly possible. Certainly possible he's elsewhere. If they continue to stumble, it's currently possible he asks for a deal elsewhere, right? Because the guy's trying to win. He's trying to go back. He's trying to go out on top with the title. And I'd love to see the Bolts bring it back for another run. 81 games with the Oilers last year, he had 30 points, 19 goals, and 11 assists, and a +12 +-. Granted, in just about 12 minutes of time on ice, so he is served more of a third or fourth line guy now because of his age and a variety of factors. However, still very effective offensive presence. 27 games for the Kings this year, 7 goals and 7 assists, +4 +-, and an increased time on ice, so 13-32. Not bad at all. It's definitely not bad at all. We do love ourselves some Corey Perry here still. So, I could definitely see him coming back, making a big impact on a Bolts run. I'd love to see it. So, we'll see how he plays tonight against us because, it's going to be a pretty intriguing game against the Kings. I'm really excited to see our first matchup against them. So, tomorrow we have the recap, double barrel what if, and a couple other goodies as well. So, this is Jordan Llanes latest. We'll see y'all later. Go Bolts.